All right, I think we'll kick off. Well, thank you everybody for joining the webinar today. Today we're going to be looking at how we can use and really harness cloud technology to ensure business continuity. And really focusing today on looking at the manufacturing sector. So for those who don't know, my name's Kurt Bean. I'm the sales director for Cloud9 Insight. Cloud9 Insight are a specialist dynamic CRM partner, award-winning for delivering great CRM projects for SMB customers. And one of our three core sectors is working with the manufacturing space. And I'm absolutely delighted today to be joined by one of our partners. So I've got Amit here from Cbiz, who we've been working with for many years, and they specialize in the back-end part of Microsoft Dynamics, which is Business Central. So Amit, welcome. Thanks so much for joining. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Kurt. Yes, as Kurt mentioned, I'm with Business Central. We're a company called Cbiz, and we've been working with Business Central and delivering projects to SMBs since 95 now. So I've been working with the product since it came into the UK, and we specialize in just delivering the project out of the box, but also to customize it to meet individual requirements and integrate it with CRM as well, so you get a full end-to-end solution.
Fantastic. Amit, it's so great to have you with us today. And the reason why I think our partnership works so well is that for every business, particularly the manufacturing space, you certainly have a front end and a back end, as it were. And your front end is typically your sales, your marketing, your customer service, and your back end is, well, we've got these orders and we've got these sales. How do we fulfill them? And particularly for the manufacturing space, it's perhaps even more important to manage that supply chain manufacturing part of the business much more closely, keeping an eye on costs and buying supply chain parts in and so on. So the reason, as I said, why our partnership works so well is that Amit and his team really specialize on that back office solutions that they provide through Business Central, and Cloud9 focus on the front end in terms of CRM, and we've got many great stories of working together. So in terms of today, what we really wanted to cover off was just three key areas. We're going to start with talking around some of the trends that we're seeing in manufacturing and some of the challenges that are pretty universal across those manufacturing clients that we work with. So Amit, I'm going to put you on the spot here as you're joining us today.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about some of the trends that you're seeing in manufacturing and some of the common challenges?
Yes, quite. Yeah. So one of the things we see a lot of is the sort of silos in terms of, the sales team working with their systems and their processes. And then, as you said, it goes over to the finance and the operational team to actually get the promises delivered and happening, and with all the challenges of finding the right parts and costs and everything, and making the right thing at the right time. So one of the things that we've seen a lot of benefit in is people joining up the two departments together, and that way the sales team work really well in dynamic sales, and then when it comes through into Business Central, there's a seamless flow of the data, customers, products, orders, all coming back into Business Central, and then you just work on the data that's been given to you by the sales team, and then they're working with the data and can rely on, so they can see the stock levels, for example, or timelines and availability from the front end system, and they don't need to switch and check or call up and ask all the time for these sort of basic things they need to know.
Yeah.
And the same way when it comes into Business Central, you can see exactly what's been ordered. It's not a conversation what the customer wants. It's actually been approved and signed off, and you're working with very good data, and then you can confidently build and send out the goods to the team, to the customer, in a much more efficient way.
Yeah, fantastic. We're certainly seeing the same, and I guess with post-COVID and some people still working from home and not working from home and being maybe back out on the road even now, the so much importance of having true data to reflect. You perhaps even are losing that opportunity now to run up to the sales office and say, oh, can I just check this, because they might be working from home or they're out on the road or whatever. So
Exactly.
yeah, you're absolutely right in terms of that quality of exact data, and knowing what's passing through from what has been sold into what's being fulfilled is hugely important. And I guess I would just pick up a little bit further on one of those pieces you said, is that it's not just around when the sale is made that needs to be fulfilled, but particularly in certain manufacturing spaces, they need to understand what their capacity is and what their potential output is. So one of the things that we see as a real benefit is actually giving the operations team the ability to forecast and to have visibility of what's potentially coming in the pipeline. Because it's, it's great to have all of these orders, but if you've also got another potential, 10, 20 orders to come in, well, you might need to put some messages back up through the sales team to say it's fine to keep selling, but actually we're potentially reaching our capacity and we might need to extend our lead time and various different things. So we're certainly seeing it's not just about the closed deals, but also around the seeing what's to come and the predictive forecasting that's so beneficial to industries with a finite resource, and particularly manufacturing is, of course, in that space. Have you also seen those things?
Yeah, and also from the customer experience, I know we've had customers that have actually surprised their customers by being able to sort of forecast things very accurately. And when we implemented some of the systems, they were surprised that we actually delivered on time. They go, oh, we assumed you said we'd deliver in January, but we'll come in February, and it could really be very accurate when they can deliver and forecast things. And that made a big impact to the customers, because it just really made them confident that when they say they can deliver things, they were going to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I would guess the final trend kind of to pick up on, which is an extra benefit, is when you've got the front office and the back office, as you put it, the sales and the operations working in harmony, as it were, there's actually a lot of benefit to growing the business further and increasing, I guess, the purchase and the spend from those existing customers, because not just are you've then got some trusted order history and product understanding of actually what those customers are buying, and perhaps whether that product has been delivered, whether it's still in transit. That might help the sales team to say, oh, actually, I'm going to hold off on that next sale because I can see there's a bit of a delay in the warehouse. I'm not going to try and strike while they might be unhappy, but also they might strike while the iron's hot. So if they are receiving 2 or 3 orders in a month, they're all on time and they've got great feedback and everything's been running to plan, that gives a great sense of confidence from that customer. So the seller can go out and try and upsell or cross-sell some other products. And to that point, do you see there's value in understanding the different products that are available and what people have purchased?
Yes, and that's, I guess, one of the big powers of having the sales side of things, being able to sort of work with the back office side, because you can suddenly see what, if you can see the trend of a lot of people are buying product A and also buying product B as well. You can see who hasn't bought product A but has bought product B, for example, and you can start targeting your marketing on that sort of cross-sell, upsell data, and I think that makes a big impact for people for sales teams to be able to do that without having to sort of go over the fence, if you like, to talk to operations, getting this information out from busy people. Yeah. It's data-driven, marketing, which can be very highly targeted.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, great. So, I think we're certainly seeing, I guess, the same things, and certainly a lot of value there in terms of connecting the front end, or sales and marketing and so on, into the operations, the fulfillment, the finance, and so on. So,
and also
what we wanted.
Sorry, yeah. As I mentioned, the time saved as well, because obviously be able to do these things from the data means people aren't going around compiling spreadsheets and everything. So we do see that as being a very big benefit to actually growing the business without growing the workforce.
Of course. Yeah. And, there's a big skills gap in most, if not all, industries at this stage. So if you've got the ability to use systems to automate or to save time, then actually, if you can't go out and hire, you need to work out how you can do more with that resource that you have. So exactly that, using technology and using systems to automate and save time is a great way of getting that out. So yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, I mean, what we're going to do now is just hopefully share with those attending some examples and some solutions that we are presenting and delivering to customers. So a little bit of a demo, I guess, but also just some understanding of how these systems actually work in practice. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to talk through a couple of bits, and then I'm going to hand over to Amit so he can show some of how the back office would receive the data. So the thing just to start with was around, you picked up a great thing there, it was around automation, but also around marketing. So the tool that you've got in front of us here is something called a campaign automation. And effectively, this is a marketing tool that gives customers the ability to create marketing journeys. And Amit made a great point around, well, if customer A, or if there was a trend that lots of customers were buying product A, but they were also buying product B, well, actually, if we know that and we can use the data to prove, we can then use these automation templates to ensure that our customers are receiving information about those relevant products. So in this case, product B. So as an example, we can build these automations that start with a trigger, which is things like they might have submitted a form or they've made a purchase and so on. And then we follow that up with an action, which can be an email or a piece of content, or even just create a task for the salesperson to give them a call. So these are great ways of, again, saving time, because we're automating this. We're making sure that the marketing can run effectively while we sleep or while we're busy doing other things. And that can bring some great value to time save, but also that cross-sell and upsell to make sure that people are receiving what they need to receive. So if we go a little bit on from there, what we hope is that that marketing will drive some inquiries. And if you're very lucky, like this business, they perhaps come in on a morning and they can see that they've had 26 inquiries overnight. But what do they do with them? So, they might need to assign them to particular salespeople. They might need to put them into a marketing list, which means that they're starting one of those journeys that we spoke about, so one of those automations. But what we would hope is that given that we service them in the right way and we go through the process we want to take them through, they would convert into what's called an opportunity. So this is then a piece of business that we can hopefully go after and secure. So we've got an example opportunity screen that is used in the manufacturing space. Really, the idea is that it's giving you all of that core information about this opportunity. And a lot of our customers will work with us to configure and tailor these screens to store information that's relevant to them, their different terminology, different ways that they want to report on things, whether they're drop-down values or whether they are, lookups to other parts of the database. Another really popular feature is we have this process bar along the top here, and this gives the customer or the client using it the ability to see where different opportunities are in terms of the process. Now, this is really valuable for the seller because they need to know what's going to happen next. They need to know, how many opportunities they have in different phases. But it's also really useful for the operations team because they can then have visibility of what's potentially to come. It's unlikely that a deal is going to close quickly if it's in the first stage, whereas if it's in the stage where it's been quoted and ready to close, that has a higher propensity to buy. So they need to get their team in order so they can start manufacturing and start fulfilling those orders. So associated to every opportunity, you'd also have products. And this is where the real strength of the integration comes. And Amit will show you is that the products are the same that we have in Business Central. And all we're doing in CRM is just picking effectively from that list. So there's no duplication. There's no errors in terms of, well, it says this in one system and says that in another. So this is a great way of supporting those price list changes, those availability changes, and even product configurations. So we can add in our product lines to the opportunity. We also see the ability to manage multiple quotes as in the manufacturing space. So if we have an opportunity that's arisen, we might need to go out to some suppliers to get the work quoted for. And this is a real common trend we see in manufacturing is they want to have the ability to store and track multiple quotes that come from different suppliers. So in this scenario, we've got two. They're actually for the same price, but we might prefer A-Datum, or we might prefer Movia Denmark as our supplier. So we can then choose which one we want to go ahead with. We can convert that, and we can then move that on to the fulfillment. So we will come back to this, but we also have some really nice visuals, and this is one of the strengths of the CRM platform, and where you really get ahead of things like using spreadsheets and other tools, is you can see really the visibility of the data. So in this view, we can see these are all of our opportunities that we have. We can actually then relate those back to those business process steps that we see. So we can see we've got one in here, we've got two that are ready to be quoted, and we've got 7 that are very new. So again, that's helping our ops team, but also our sales team with that visibility. And we also have some forecasting tools as well. So this is a really popular tool, again, in that manufacturing space, really any space that has the finite resource, because they can start to see what the probability of some of these deals coming through are. So there are target setting quotas and things like that. This is a sales tool, of course, you don't have to necessarily use them, but the real value here is that they can see, well, we've got all of these orders that are in what we define as best case, which might be a kind of a 50% value or a 50% probability. We've got these orders that are in committed, so that's, well, guys, we really need to get ready for the manufacturing here, and of course these ones that are won as well. So it's giving our ops team, but also our sales managers, visibility of what's to come. So where we get to is that we reach a stage where we choose the quotation we want to go ahead with, and effectively we've got our line items in the product, and the salesperson's job is then effectively complete. They can close that opportunity as one, or they can confirm the order, receive a PO number, receive a signature, whatever that approval process is. And that's ready now for our back office and our finance team to get into the fulfillment and finance pieces. So I'm going to hand over to Amit, who's going to talk you through that.
Thanks, Kurt. Yes, let me just share my screen as well now. Could you let me, I think you might need to enable me to share my screen here.
No. There you go. Try now.
Yeah. Great, thank you. So what we have here is, as Kurt said, is a lot of the sort of decision making in terms of what the customer wants to buy, who we can buy it from. It can all be made at the front end in sales. And then what we have in CRM is the ability to, into BC, to pull through that data. So things like your item list and customer list all come through from the sales data, so no rekeying of that. But you can also create your own products in Business Central if you wanted things outside of CRM for any reason. And what we'll find is that when we bring the stuff in here, we've got all the customers, got the items and things like payment terms, and all these all sort of synchronized between the two systems. So when it goes through, the sales orders come through simply from the CRM system. You can pull that through, and then you can just click on it here and look at the actual order that the customer has placed, and it will show exactly what came from the CRM, which is the customer, the contact it's for, and the products that have been ordered. But because we've got the additional information in here, there's all the stock and manufacturing information held within Business Central. So you can see, if you're looking at an individual product, for example here, what's the availability of that product, how many are in inventory at the moment, and you can click on these to actually see what that's made up of. So you can see when the stock is expected to be coming in, and who it's coming from, and what demand being placed against it. So you get very accurate view from Business Central of where things are in terms of arriving and leaving your warehouses. And you can have multiple warehouses set up here as well, which are also synchronized into CRM. So if you need to distribute across different areas, you can choose the right location to minimize shipping costs. then from Business Central, because we don't have to type anything in, we just now focus on the actual part of delivering the orders. So you can type in how much of this wants to go out and when. So when things are in order, have been made and gone through the production system, you can then ship out the appropriate quantity to the customer, then email it out from here, and that goes straight to the customer's accounts or whatever email box you want them to be sending things to. And also it can go into CRM as well. So the sales team can also see when invoices have been raised from within their environment. They're not having to sort of jump between different software to find out what's going on. And then all this data then, in terms of payment terms and everything, ultimately all that goes through to is the actual sales forecast, and then through to the cash flow forecast as well. So when we're looking at the cash flow, we can put in the hard data, if you like, which is the money coming in from orders and from invoices that have been raised, and that going out from suppliers and purchases that you've made as well. But also you can add in sort of the repeatable things that are not accounts payable or receivable, like national insurance, payroll costs, dividends, or other such transactions that are going on in here. And then you can see on the cash flow basis what is going out based on the different types of activities you can have, be that from asset disposables, orders coming in, purchase orders going out, and all that can compile together to give you a very good cash flow forecast that you can view on a timeline basis as well. So you can see over the next few months, or indeed daily, weekly, and quarterly, you can see what's happening with your cash flow as well. And all that lets you then control your business in a much more data-driven way. And you're not having to resort to Excel spreadsheets or other systems to actually go and calculate the figures and numbers for you to actually run your business, which takes a lot of the guesswork and or effort out of just knowing what's going on within your cash bank side of things, order and inventory levels. All that's then in data, and with things like Power BI, you can easily join the data up and give you very detailed reports and dashboards, which can either then be shown in Power BI or even within the product itself. So you can see your dashboards within Business Central. The things that are key to you are shown on your own relevant homepage, as well as other sort of information about things like what's overdue at the moment, how many sales invoices are outstanding and overdue, what's in action in terms of sales orders, purchase orders, payments are up and coming, and other such activity that you can have. Plus, you can integrate into Shopify to actually bring a portal in and have online sales all integrated fully into Business Central.
Amazing. It looks so good, Amit. And I think the value of the data flowing through and syncing back and forth, of course, saves so much headaches between those front office and back office teams. So
Indeed.
Finally, just for today, we just want to go through, well, how can partners like ourselves and in terms of Cloud9 and also Cbiz, how do we help you on that journey? So the journey really is a 4-stage methodology, if you like. For every project, we start with requirements gathering, and these are specified workshops working with individual teams, use cases, functions, to really get to the detail of, well, what does the solution need to do? And as Amit said, we're both absolute pioneers in using as much of the out-of-the-box tool as we can, and often clients might tweak or change their process to deliver to that. But we also have the strength of configuring the tools to do things slightly differently than out of the box to really align with a business process. So that's the detail, and the approach that we use as part of those requirements is get to an agreed scope that we can then move into project implementation. So this is the part where we're building the tool in line with that scope. We're helping you to see mid-project demos and get your hands on it. We then take you through data migration. So if there's any existing data that needs to come through, the integration and connectivity. So that's linking up with Dynamics Sales, for example, other third-party applications, things like your Microsoft solutions that you're using day to day, Outlook and Microsoft Teams and so on. And following the build, the integration and so on, we would then go through some training with you. So that could be end user training, super user. You could be looking to do a trainer approach. So there's various different ways that we can help your team and your users to feel empowered to use the tools in the way that you would hope. And we reinforce that through our client success care package. So this is our ongoing post-project support where we provide, of course, the break fix stuff, but also ongoing configuration changes and also training as well. So we can reinforce the usability through training that we provide as part of the support package. And we're also there for the journey. And CRM and ERP, putting these systems in is absolutely a journey. And you're probably not going to achieve everything that you want to on day one. It should be seen as something that is continuously improved, part of the team. And we do that through ensuring that you've got good account management. We do optimization reviews. We help you to realize the new features that are rolled out by Microsoft that come on a twice yearly basis, and really just ensure that what we set out to achieve is what we are achieving, and what can we achieve next with these new tools. So there's a few clients of ours in terms of manufacturing. We've got some great use cases and case studies on our website, which you're all very welcome to go and see. And really, just to keep us in time, thank you so much for joining today. If there are any questions for myself or Amit, we've got a couple of minutes left. Please pop them into the chat window. Otherwise, we will absolutely really appreciate you joining us today. Hope you got some nuggets. And if you wanted to have a further conversation about how Dynamics can support your manufacturing business moving forward, please give us a shout. Okay. So I can't see any questions in the chat window. So as we're nearly up for time, Amit, just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. Absolutely great to have you with us, and thanks for the trends, and thanks for the great demo of Business Central as well. And I know Amit will join me in saying that if you want to take these conversations further and discuss your business needs and how technology can help you to grow and eliminate any pain that you're seeing, we'd be delighted to have further conversations with you.
Indeed.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.